Hey everyone, how's it going? Anthony Muthurajah here, back with a new video lesson for you all. Before I get to the actual lesson, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or if it's your first time here, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos that I put out. And consider joining my channel where I post exclusive content, exclusive lessons, share random PDFs of things that I'm practicing or things you can practice. And I might actually have some featured people on there to discuss and share certain things. So a lot of things to look forward to there. All right, so if there's one thing I very consistently talk about on this channel, it is definitely improvising. I won't say soloing per se, because improv is not just about playing solos. Improv is being able to think on your feet and actually create. I have a certain type of belief that everyone can actually improvise. The variable is to what extent. Why do I say this? Anyone who picks up an instrument can make a sound out of it. Whether it sounds good or bad, that's very subjective. But we're able to create, we're able to say something, right? So improv is something that I think is a form of survival skill, if you ask me, okay? But like I said, to what extent can you improvise? That's what makes that guy sound great as a jazz musician. Would it mean he would have been a great painter? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. You know, like we never know. So you won't know until you venture into it. And to improvise for me is something as important as a basic life skill like cooking or, you know, being able to set up furniture, right? So I want to take you guys through a particular process that I still use, and will probably always use, okay? It is taking a physical shape on the bass, okay? And really learning to move within that shape, but without paying attention or focusing on the physicality of the shape, rather the contour of the melody that comes out of it. Okay, we tend to fixate on how our fingers move, which is why if you ask a particular person, hey, can you play me Good Times in A flat minor? More than likely it's not going to happen. I had to think for a second. I'm not making this up. Why? Because it's like, is it my fingers that's allowing me to play it, or am I trying to be aware of the actual shape of that bass line? So we have an advantage on the neck where the physical shape actually allows us to transpose fairly easily, but that also is our demise because we are not able to think beyond that. Okay, so what I'm going to show you will enable you to use this for your soloing, your groove, fills, you name it, it'll work. Okay, so we're going to take one of my favorite shapes, which is 1 2 3 5. Okay, a do, re, mi, so. You can do this anywhere. Apparently I cannot. So besides the fact that Coltrane uses a lot and so many great improvisers use this, it's just a nice melody, right? Now the first thing I try to do is actually combine these 4 notes using permutations. And the best part about permutations is that we know exactly how many outcomes we'll have. So there's 4 notes here, okay? If I start from 1, I can go 1 2 3 5 or 1 2 5 3. So basically going from 1 to 2, I have 2 outcomes. Going from 1 to 3, I'll have 2. 1 to 5, I'll have 2. So from each of these guys, I'll have 6 in total, which means I have 24 permutations of just this in that 1 octave space. So I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to play through the 24 and I want you to listen. I believe I played all 24. I might have confused myself at some point. But you can hear how we're still able to relate to it because it's the same notes. But the combination starts to give you a different scenario altogether. It's almost as if you know one word really well. Cumbersome. And now you just have figured out, it's a painful process. It can be cumbersome, it can be frustrating, it can be so many things, right? So language is a good parallel to draw here because you're able to take the same meaning, but you can align it differently. It can feel different. That's what's happening here with the permutations. So once you do this, the next thing I want you to try to do is move either one of these notes from the 4 up a half step, one at a time. So I'm going to move C to C sharp. And then permutate that. Now I move D to D sharp. I like this one a lot because you get C major and minor, which is a diminished kind of sound. So I'm like, oh, cool. Right? So now I'm starting to develop more kind of out there kind of sound and ideas, right? Then I can raise the E to F. I'm not particularly a fan of this sound, but let's go with it. Right? Then G to G sharp. You see this augmented or whole tone, whole tone. So then you can start moving down a half, moving up a whole if it permits. You really start to get a whole bunch of devices. Like, check this out. If I move the G up a whole step now I have to finger this thing differently. Right? So what I'm essentially doing is I'm taking a basic physical shape, rearrange the notes, you start to get some interesting sounds. Now let me give you a very simple application in a groove. Let's say I have something in A minor and we tend to do this. Now instead of always going to that, you could go to that. So what am I doing there? I'm actually just coming back down instead of going. So from a 1-bar phrase and repeating that, I have this now. Oh, check this out. I'm only hitting the same 4 notes. Technically 3, but I have the octave up. So from here, and then I can go. So you get different ways of playing the same thing, and then you'll start to notice the way you choose to arrange the notes can make things sound funkier or more dull. For example, if I go versus so have fun with this, groove with it, solo with it, do whatever you want. But this is guaranteed to give you results. And of course, you have to put in the work. That's the only way you get results. There's no secret. There's no pro tip anyone's keeping from you. You have to put in the work. That's all. All right. So I hope this helps. And I'll see you all in the shed until the next one. All right. Peace.